Welcome to the short video. My name is Pastor Matt from Christ is King Church in San Antonio, Texas. And I have with me Bob and April Sayre, who are missionaries in Japan, and also Ben and Sara Haddixes, who are also missionaries in Japan. Ben and Sara recently got to Japan just a few months ago after having been trying to get there as missionaries for several years. God has opened that door and made that way. Bob and April have been there for several years and are beginning to make a transition. And so we wanted to hop on this video and just share with you a little bit about the missions work that's happening in Japan. Bob and April, why don't you share just a little bit?
So yeah, we've known Ben and Sara for quite a while now, and Sara and April are kind of related. So it was just God's timing that as we were praying about making this transition, that they were able to get here just at this time. So they're really going to continue the work that God's been doing in Japan and take it to the next level. And for our family, we've been praying about the future and where God is leading us, and we just really felt like he wanted us to have our family be planted in the United States long term and be part of what God is doing in the States. And we know there's a great need there as well, too. So it's a big transition for our family. We're going to miss Japan. We love Japan so much. We have nothing but good things to say about our time here. We love the churches. We love the Christians. And yeah, it's going to be a little bit hard for us, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're gonna miss the people so much. We have so many people we love so much, but we're thankful for the time we've had here.
So I'm a little bit jealous that Ben and Sara get to be in Japan because we would kind of like to be in two places at once.
Yeah, true.
What time frame are y'all looking at as far as transitioning back?
So we'll be transitioning at the end of November back to the States. We'll be back to where our home church is, Christ is King, Pastor Matt. And we really feel like God is leading us to be involved in pastoral ministry in a support role or as starting a new work. We're still praying about the exact route we're going to take. We just feel like God is leading us to take it slow, take it day by day. And we're just looking forward to God's plan for our family and for our kids too, and their future.
Great. So Ben and Sara, why don't you just share with us a little bit about your journey and what God's placed on your heart as far as the Japanese people go?
Yeah, for sure. So we've been kind of making our rounds amongst the missions conferences in I guess that are kind of a part of the IMA and associated with the IMA for it's got to be about maybe 4 years, something like that. And just being able to meet all the wonderful missionaries there and make some really really good friendships and have really good fellowship. That's that's been kind of our journey before, but all along, it kind of came at a bad time because, or I shouldn't say it came at a bad time. It was God's timing for sure. But looking at it from the flesh, like man, COVID just hit and it really slowed things down. Japan was one of the first to
Yeah.
close and the last to open back up. So we've been trying to get to Japan for about 3 years, and but man, it didn't make it just so much sweeter when we finally got here.
Yeah, we're working with the church right now with Next Town's Crusades. We are in the very beginning stages of our ministry is all about learning language as much as we possibly can. And so we're making that a really high priority. However, we are working with a church here that has been planted for many years and is in great communication with Pastor Archie Alderson and with several of the pastors over in the United States as well. And they are helping train us. They're helping us to just learn what Japan culture is like, helping us learn language, helping us get connected with people in the community. So they're giving us plenty of opportunity to really grow in ministry specific, like Japan ministry specific areas. And we're really, really thankful to be here so far. They have seriously been such a help, from helping us get our visa to helping us get in our apartment. I mean, they are just they're really helping us out, and we want to serve them back. And so we're doing everything we can, as limited as we can because our language, but as much as we possibly can to really help support that church as well.
Yeah, and the church that you're at, like you said, it's a Next Towns Crusade church. And so that organization of churches was one that my grandparents, John and Ruth Bell, started. And the church you're at, I got to visit with my dad when they had just bought the land. And
Oh,
so we went out there with the pastors and prayed over the land. There was no building there, right out in the middle of a rice field. I still remember
That's right.
that.
yeah.
And now God's put a church there, and people are coming to the Lord there in that church. And your church that sent you, tell us a little bit about your sending church.
Yeah. So our church is back in the United States is Victory Church. They're out of Waupaca, Wisconsin, pastored by Philip Thompson. So many of you know him. He's a great man. He mentored us for several years, about 5 years or so before we came. So just kind of equipped us with all the ministry kind of knowledge that we need. Of course, we both at that time were also going through our ministry degree program. So I ended up graduating with a bachelor's of science in ministry leadership from Moody Bible Institute. And then Sarah got an associate's of lay ministry from Summit School of Ministry out of Victory Church that Pastor Thompson had started. And so just in terms of like ministry training, they've been phenomenal for us. But
No.
also the man, just again the fellowship and the connections that we've made there, the amount of prayer that we get from them, the support that we get from them, we couldn't do it if we didn't have a sending church like Victory Church. So yeah, just from the bottom of our hearts, we love Victory Church so much. It's bittersweet to be here because we know that we're away from them, but this is God's purpose in our life, and them pushing us forward gives us the kind of the propellant that we need to be able to do ministry well here for the long term.
Pastor is one of my best friends and an IBC graduate, and he was on staff here at Revival Temple under my
He was my
grandpa
PE
John.
teacher as a
He was
kid.
Bobby's PE teacher. And anyway, so there's just a lot of connections and history going into both Bob and April there in Japan, and now you, Ben and Sarah. So again, we just wanted to film this short little video to give you an update about the missions work that's happening in Japan. God providentially worked it out so that just the same time that Bobby and April are coming back overlaps just with Ben and Sarah going there. And I want to encourage whoever's watching this, if you would first just pray, commit to pray for Ben and Sarah, for them to learn the language, for them to be a blessing to that church, and to really accomplish everything that God has for them. Pray for Bob and April as they transition back, that the right place would be open for them, and that all the logistics that go into moving countries, that God would just give them an extra grace for that. And then finally, thirdly, after prayer for Ben and Sarah and Bobby and April, is the issue of giving. Many of you have been supporting Bobby and April, and I just want to make an appeal to you as their pastor, if you would prayerfully consider supporting, moving that support from Bobby and April to Ben and Sarah, who are doing missions work in Japan. I would ask you to prayerfully consider that. And Ben and Sarah, if people want to find more about you or more info on the work that you're doing, how can they get in touch with you?
I mean, our Facebook is kind of like the main spot for us. My name, Sarah Haddixes. You'll find tons of stuff there. You can easily connect with me there as well through Messenger. We also have an email if you want to get in touch. We have haddixeinjapan@gmail.com. We check that pretty regularly. We have a newsletter. We have a lot of different ways. So if you reach out through Facebook or through the email, we can get you in touch with how to communicate more one-on-one.
Yeah.
So if people want to get your newsletter, they can either email you or reach out to you on Messenger, and they can get on that list.
That's right.
Absolutely. Haddixes in Japan. Yeah.
They send out some great newsletters, and I just want to second that and say that, like they said, they come from a family church, a church that we're all related with and associated with, and I think they're going to do a great job in Japan. We're actually have the privilege of being able to support them already. So if you feel led to do that and you want your heart to stay in Japan, this is a great way to do that.
Awesome. Well, thank you for watching this short video. Again, you want more information, look up Sara on Facebook. And yeah, be praying for Japan, be praying for the Sayres and the Haddixes. And God's going to do great things.
Yeah,
Amen. Thanks for watching.
the need has not shrunk here, and it's just bigger than ever. So we need more missionaries.